Imagine a tiny electric car zipping quietly through the narrow alleyways of Tokyo. Not a Nissan, not a Honda, but a Chinese BYD. For decades, Japan's streets have been the kingdom of the small but mighty K car. Quirky, boxy, cleverly designed, and beloved by millions. But this year, something remarkable is happening that could upend everything Japanese drivers have come to expect from their trusty city cars. What if China's EV juggernaut is on the verge of overturning one of Japan's last automotive strongholds? And could this shakeup signal a turning point in the global auto industry, with ripples far beyond the islands of Japan? Today, we expose the fierce battle brewing over the future of the world's most ingenious compact car, the K. Is BYD's electric challenger a true revolution, or a Trojan horse that will force Japan's automakers to finally catch up? Let's dive deep into the heart of the Japanese auto market. To understand why BYD's move is making headlines from Yokohama to Wall Street, we need to step back, decades back in fact, to see why K cars matter so much in Japan, and why the Chinese assault is causing nerves to fray among Japan's auto giants. K cars, known in Japanese as keijidosha or light vehicles, are more than just city runabouts. They are a social phenomenon. Born in the rubble of post-war Japan, K cars were envisioned as an affordable and efficient transport solution for a nation rebuilding from scratch. At first, almost anything went, but over time the government set strict size and engine rules, no more than 3.4 meters long, 1.48 meters wide, and 600 cc engine capacity. It was a masterstroke. K cars get massive tax breaks, easy insurance, and magically, they're allowed to be parked in places where larger cars simply can't go. In dense cities like Tokyo, that's not just a perk, it's survival. The Japanese government's plan couldn't have been more cunning: stimulate the domestic auto sector, provide real mobility to the masses, and, crucially, help Japanese automakers build a global juggernaut by mastering small car engineering. Suzuki, Daihatsu, Honda, and Nissan all flourished, creating generations of city cars that were cheap to own, fun to drive, and, in many ways, ahead of their time. Fast forward to 2024. K cars remain a pillar of daily life. The Honda N-Box, a glorified shoebox on wheels, has been Japan's best-selling vehicle for 3 years running, shifting over 200,000 units annually. Meanwhile, the segment has started an electrification journey, with Japanese brands like Nissan and Mitsubishi already fielding all-electric versions like the Sakura and EKX. What explains this enduring popularity? Simply put, K cars are tailor-made for Japan's unique demographics and geography. Young and old alike can afford them. They fit the puzzle of Japan's ultra-dense cities. They sip fuel, if they even use fuel at all. And thanks to social policy, they are the people's car, in a way that the Volkswagen Beetle once was in Germany. But there's trouble ahead. Japan's auto industry is getting squeezed from all sides. An aging population, sluggish economic growth, and perhaps most menacing of all, a surging wave of Chinese innovation, led by BYD. For most of Japan's modern history, foreign automakers, especially Chinese ones, struggled to get a toehold in the market. The tastes of Japanese buyers are famously exacting, with legendary brands enjoying almost unshakable loyalty. But that wall is starting to crack, thanks to the rise of electric vehicles. The Japanese government, anxious to curb emissions and revitalize its aging fleet, is pouring subsidies into EVs, including K cars. Suddenly, an opening has appeared for a bold outsider. That's where BYD comes in. Founded in 1995, known first for batteries and then for affordable cars, BYD has exploded onto the global stage as a major force in electric vehicles. In 2024 alone, the company placed more than 2 million EVs on roads worldwide. Its secret weapon: relentless cost-cutting, in-house battery production, and a willingness to storm any market, no matter how tough. Recent spy photos have revealed something few thought possible: a camouflaged prototype of a right-hand drive BYD Mini EV built to K car specifications, being tested in Japan. This isn't just a dip of the toe. BYD's CEO, Wang Chuanfu, personally greenlit the project after attending the Japan Mobility Show in late 2023. He saw the future: electric, compact, affordable, and decided BYD would take the fight directly to Japan's home turf. According to local analysts, BYD's K car is on track for a late 2026 Japan launch. Production will be centered in China for export, with a projected base price of just 2.5 million yen, around $18,000 US. That's a price tag likely to send shudders down the corporate boardrooms of Tokyo's auto giants. By launching in the world's most competitive small car market, BYD is betting it can do what no foreign brand has done before: win the hearts and wallets of Japanese city drivers. If you're wondering, what makes this new BYD contender different? For one, it will use BYD's in-house Blade battery, a breakthrough tech that delivers solid range at a low cost. Official leaks suggest a 20 kWh battery and a real-world range of 180 km on a single charge, right in line with the Nissan Sakura, currently the benchmark EV K car. Add to that sliding rear doors, a roomy cabin thanks to a clever dual A-pillar design, and all the digital trimmings. But is it enough? Takeshi Miao, an analyst at Carnorama, sounds a warning. BYD's entry into the K car market could disrupt the established order, forcing Japanese automakers to accelerate their EV development. For now, BYD's presence in Japan is modest. In 2024, it sold just over 2,200 vehicles, hardly threatening compared to the hundreds of thousands from Honda and Nissan. Yet, incredibly, BYD's pure EV sales have already surpassed Toyota's electric tally in its own backyard in the same period. And with plans to expand its Japanese dealership network to 100 locations by next year, BYD is clearly in Japan for the long haul. Some Japanese automaker leaders are striking a diplomatic tone. Nissan's president, Yoshihiro Hidaka, says, "We welcome healthy competition in the electric K car segment, as it will ultimately benefit consumers." Privately, however, many insiders admit that a cheap, high-tech BYD K car would be a huge threat, especially among younger buyers who don't carry the same loyalty baggage as older generations. In fact, as one Suzuki dealer put it, young people do not have a negative view of BYD. It would be a huge threat if the company launches cheap models in Japan. There's a sharp sense of anxiety in the air, a feeling that the old rules of the game may be about to change. For decades, Japanese automakers could count on a home field advantage, knowing exactly what local buyers wanted: quality, reliability, and the proud badge of a domestic maker. But the new generation of consumers is more open to foreign alternatives, provided the price and features are right. BYD's relentless cost efficiency, thanks in large part to its mastery of battery tech, gives it a card to play that Japan's traditional automakers have yet to match. As Electrek reports, BYD will likely have an advantage in terms of costs due to its in-house battery production, allowing them to price the K car competitively. The stakes are enormous. If BYD pulls off even a fraction of its ambitions, its stated goal is nothing less than a 40% share of the electric K segment within just a few years. It could break the domestic stranglehold and trigger a scramble among Japanese players to innovate, cut prices, and invest in new technologies at a pace not seen in decades. But the battle is far from straightforward. Japanese buyers are famously discerning. It's not just about specs and price. It's about trust, after-sales service, and a car's ability to seamlessly fit into daily life. The bar for reliability is set sky high, and there's a subtle but powerful preference for the familiar, a homegrown badge that signals heritage and pride. There's also the tangled web of regulations, consumer culture, and dealership networks to navigate. While Japan's government offers generous EV subsidies and tax breaks for K cars, it's less clear whether bureaucrats would look kindly on a foreign company grabbing a huge slice of this national symbol. Building trust in a market that prizes relationships and reputation won't be easy for BYD. Yet all is not rosy for Japan's giants. Years of incremental updates and conservative strategies have left some automakers exposed. While Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi have introduced electric K models, they're pricey, often out of reach for younger buyers, and lack the cost efficiencies that BYD's vertical integration can offer. We can already see the contours of the coming battle. On one side, BYD, aggressive, nimble, cost-focused, determined to force a breakthrough. On the other, Japan's established titans, counting on brand loyalty, deep local knowledge, and mastery of quality. Who will blink first? And let's not forget, a disruption in the K car market doesn't just affect Japan. If BYD cracks the code here, they could export the formula to other right-hand drive markets in Southeast Asia, India, or Africa, spreading their influence even further and changing the calculus of the global city car business. At this crossroads, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Japanese automakers respond with innovation and bold moves, or will they risk being overtaken in their own backyard by a foreign upstart? As the first camouflaged BYD prototypes cruise through Japanese test tracks and city streets, the entire industry is holding its breath. Just how far is BYD willing to go to conquer the world's ultimate stronghold of compact cars? And how will Japanese car culture, proud, meticulous, and fiercely traditional, respond when its most beloved cars face their greatest threat in decades? As we move deeper into this unfolding story, the future for BYD and Japan's cherished K-car market hangs in a delicate balance, teetering between opportunity and uncertainty. So, what could happen next? Let's look at the possible scenarios, the stakes for all players, and crucially, what this means for you, the viewer, regardless of where you live. In one possible future, BYD manages to break through the formidable walls of Japanese consumer loyalty and regulation, much like how foreign tech companies once cracked open Japan's tightly woven electronics market. Picture this. By late 2026, BYD's electric K-car is rolling onto Japanese streets at a price point almost too good to resist, thanks to government EV subsidies and their own mastery of battery cost control. The 20 kilowatt-hour battery delivers around 180 kilometers of real-world range, making it practical for city commuters, students, and families zipped into the hustle of Tokyo or Osaka. If BYD's ambitions come true, reaching a whopping 40% market share within a few years, it would send shockwaves through the Japanese auto industry. Analysts like Takeshi Miao have already warned, BYD's entry into the K-car market could disrupt the established order, forcing Japanese automakers to accelerate their EV development. And that's the magic of true competition. Prices would drop, features would soar, and innovation would speed up across the board. But success is far from guaranteed. Japanese consumers don't just buy cars, they buy brands and trust built over decades. K-car fans are fiercely loyal to Honda's N-Box, Suzuki's iconic models, and Nissan's Sakura, all names with deep roots in Japanese life. There's also the challenge of perfecting the little details, sliding doors, ultra-clever interiors, and that almost invisible sense of quality that local makers have perfected. Even the company's own research revealed that while younger buyers are open to BYD, older purchasers remain skeptical, haunted by worries about reliability and resale value. As one Suzuki dealer put it bluntly, young people do not have a negative view of BYD. It would be a huge threat if the company launches cheap models in Japan. Now let's flip the script. What if Japan's automakers, spurred by this new threat, come together in a way we haven't seen since the 1980s? Expect a wave of new EV models, aggressive pricing, and perhaps even unique tech aimed at protecting their home turf. In this scenario, BYD's assault becomes a catalyst, not a conqueror. The market becomes a true battleground, with both sides pushing the boundaries of what a mini EV can be. In the end, consumers win. Just like Yoshihiro Hidaka, president of Nissan, predicted, "We welcome healthy competition. It will ultimately benefit consumers." But there's also a third, more uncertain path. The traditional K-car market, so long a pillar of Japanese life, could begin to fade. Demographics are shifting. Japan's population is aging rapidly, and younger generations may want larger, more versatile vehicles, or pivot to shared mobility and subscription models. If that happens, both BYD and the local heavyweights could be forced to pivot, investing elsewhere or abandoning the mini EV battlefield altogether. The story would change not just for Japan, but for the world's approach to urban mobility. There are risks on every side. For BYD, the investment is massive, building a whole new supply chain for right-hand drive models, opening up to 100 dealerships across Japan, and producing cars that capture the subtle tastes of local buyers. A single misstep in quality or after-sales support could taint the entire adventure. For Japanese giants, the risk is existential. Lose this fight, and decades of market dominance could dissolve, opening doors to foreign competitors worldwide. Yet for both sides, the reward is tantalizing. The K-car segment isn't just about numbers. It's about capturing the heart of urban mobility in one of the world's most influential automotive markets. If BYD succeeds here, it sends a message to Europe, India, Southeast Asia, and beyond. Chinese EV makers can master not just scale, but local nuance. If Japan's automakers stand their ground, they prove once again their legendary adaptability and skill, a lesson the whole industry will watch closely. Zooming out, what does this all mean for you? Let's extract the practical lessons from this unfolding drama. First, remember that competition is the engine of progress. Whether you're a car enthusiast, an EV skeptic, or just someone navigating city streets, the clash between BYD and Japanese icons will likely lead to better options, cheaper, cleaner, smarter vehicles. Prices could fall as new entrants push cost boundaries, and features you only dreamed of, like real-time diagnostics, AI parking, and all-digital dashboards, might become standard. Second, the story offers a crash course in the importance of cultural adaptation. BYD's ability, or inability, to localize its Mini EV will be a live experiment in understanding just how far a great product can travel before it hits the invisible walls of trust and tradition. For business owners and entrepreneurs watching, this is a masterclass in more than just cars. It's about knowing your audience, listening to their needs, and never underestimating the power of local connection. Third, don't underestimate agility. Japan's automakers, long accused of being slow to embrace full electrification, are now finding themselves in a make-or-break moment. How they respond, by accelerating EV development, enhancing their dealer networks, or collaborating in new ways, will shape not just Japan's streets, but global industry trends. For those working in any fast-changing business, this is a reminder: adapt quickly or risk irrelevance. And here's a final crucial takeaway. The battle for the K-car market is a microcosm of the broader global shift to electric vehicles. What happens in Japan's alleys and avenues will echo across continents. The lessons, victories, and failures will be studied by city planners, automakers, and policymakers worldwide. If Japan, a high-density, aging, tech-savvy society, can make the switch, what's to stop the rest of us? So, let's come back to the big question. Can BYD truly overcome Japan's cultural, regulatory, and brand loyalty barriers to disrupt the K-car market? The answer at this moment is tantalizingly open. BYD brings undeniable strengths: cost leadership, battery innovation, bold vision, and the willingness to learn. Their plan, to tailor a tiny, affordable, all-electric vehicle for Japanese streets and to underpin it with their advanced blade battery tech, could turn heads and wallets alike, especially among younger buyers eager for something new. But the hurdles are real. Winning over Japanese drivers means more than offering a low sticker price. It demands patience, relentless focus on quality, and above all, the humility to learn from local legends. The established brands aren't standing still. Honda, Nissan, Suzuki, and Daihatsu are revving up their own electric offerings, leveraging decades of trust and a web of relationships across Japan's towns and cities. If one thing is certain, it's that the coming years will be a crucible not just for BYD, but for the entire Japanese automotive ecosystem. Win or lose, BYD's foray forces an industry to evolve, and that evolution could change the face of urban transportation everywhere. And before we wrap up, here's a secret fact you might not have heard elsewhere. BYD's CEO Wang Chuanfu only greenlit the K-car project after personally visiting the Japan Mobility Show in October 2023. That trip, sources say, convinced him that the time for a foreign disruption had finally come. In other words, what you're witnessing isn't just another product launch, it's a calculated move in a high-stakes game, triggered by a single moment of inspiration on Japanese soil. So, where do you stand in this story? Will you root for the disruptive challenger or the resilient homegrown champions? How could these changes affect your city, your commute, or the next car you buy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the future of cars and technology. And if you have questions about EVs, urban mobility, or want us to cover similar battles around the world, drop them